You see, we as people, we want so badly just to be there already. We forget that there has a process to it all. We shun the road less traveled, forgoing the very strength we can generate ourselves, all the fast forward and inconveniences that get us there quickest, and we miss those moments when we need to just stop and sit for a minute. There is just here with a T added for time. And maybe it's time we started to see things a little different. Time we came to the understanding that those countless hours spent waiting on our bus.
I do have a segment that I wanted to continue here.
Wait for this, bro.
Yeah.
This is called Craig versus Austin. It's so basically what we're doing here.
We have 3 players today.
We do have 3 players today. We're doing. I went on Craigslist and I found the misconnection section, and I find the best ones to read, and then I make my own,
And then we have to
and then you guys have to guess which one is me.
Okay.
It's so much crazier than you think.
Which one's real and then which one's their favorite?
Yeah, right.
Which one's real? Which one's mine?
Children alive, but with misconnection.
Basically,
Right.
yes.
Right. So, starting it off.
Get it.
Let's get right into it. First one is, the title is, You Said I Reminded You of a Rag Doll You Used to Play With. Here we go.
That's how it's gonna start it. 100%.
What connection was this?
This is an intense
We went into
connection.
some weird stuff is what we found out.
First sentence.
You, the big biker dude, looking like a TOP at the 7-Eleven. Last Tuesday, I was going to give you my cell number on the down low, but before I could get back to my ride outside, you had already taken off. I was a small dude, 40-ish, with long hair, smooth bod, and tight shorts. You smiled at me. Hope you see this and hit me up, ...
This is awesome, 1000%.
All right, second one. This one is called Red Fish, Blue Fish equals You Fish. We were in the public library.
What the fuck does that mean?
I know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the title to come through right now.
We were in the public library. I was in the kids aisle looking to get a Dr. Seuss book for my 4-year-old. I saw you put your glasses down and wince at me with your red hair and sparkling blue eyes. I was about to come over there and talk to you, but then my son cock blocks me and says he needs to go to the bathroom. I saw you laugh, but when we came back, ... you were gone.
Damn it.
Ellipsis.
How dramatic at the end there. Yeah.
So which one was me?
I think the first one was.
I think the
Wait,
first.
we just read 2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We go in rounds. We go in rounds.
I think the first one was you. That second one is so specific.
You all were wrong.
Oh, fuck! Yo, you're a good writer. You're a good writer,
Exactly
bro.
when we did the last one. We were like, what?
That was, you put a lot of shit together in there.
This is why, honestly, this is why I showed up a little later. It took me 2.5
Made
hours
up
to
the
make
library story?
Like seriously.
What in the fuck?
It's like makes sense in a little bit now,
Red
but not
fish
really.
Can we just go back to that part where Austin
Red
was
hair,
like,
blue eyes.
where Austin was like, I don't feel like I bring anything to the table.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was fucking fun.
Yeah.
Fuck. Straight zeros for all of us.
Just
But
fucking goose eggs.
that's where the title came from. Red fish, blue fish equals you fish. I was in the Dr. Seuss aisle. She had red hair and blue eyes.
He really like went into depth on that, man.
Holy fuck.
Hey, the details matter.
This is why he wins. This is why the house wins every time.
All right, number 2. To Rebecca at Disney World. It's me, Steven. We made out in the It's a Small World line. You gave me your number, but I lost my phone on Splash Mountain later that day. Hence, why I'm on here, because I don't know your social medias. Hit me up if you see this. Next one.
I mean, that sounds like some real shit, though.
Like all this stuff, like
Real shit.
Next one is...
I bet you he spent the rest of the time just walking around the park.
Yeah.
Trying to find her, like, hey, what is going on? I gotta.
Poor Steven, man. Wait, first off, can we just... Who the fuck makes out in a small... It's a small world line. Hold on. It's a small world after all.
Line, not even like on the thing. It would have made more sense on the line.
You know there were some kids watching.
In the line in broad daylight while you're waiting to get on the dark ass ride. Like
We are against each other.
All right. Next one is... Title is, Has it been a year since meeting at the beach bar? So, we met at the St. Pete Beach Bar. You told me your husband was in Texas. We took a walk and fooled around in the cabana lounge. We ended up at my place. You were Hispanic, long brown hair, short and chesty. Sound like you, question mark?
Chesty?
Let's see, dot, dot, dot.
Chesty is not an
think you
acceptable
wrote the
word.
second one.
Chesty is not acceptable.
I think I have a taste for you right now. I think you got the first one.
I'm going second one.
I know that you wrote the second one because
Oh, damn.
you dogged the first one.
He knows.
What do you mean I dogged the first one?
You joined in on our banter on the first one.
I wrote
You
the
gave
second
up
one.
your hand.
I wrote the first one.
What?
To Rebecca at Disney World.
It's not one for
All
the
right, I was right.
damn.
I was right. I studied your style in the first one.
Dude, you're fucking up.
Yo,
He's getting better.
he just put that shit right in my face. Damn. Fuck.
I can prove it to you guys because
I believe.
with the Craig, I take the
trust you.
screenshot.
In the small world.
Chesty is a bad word.
Chesty is
I'm
a really,
happy
really crazy
that you
word
did
to
not
use.
do that. We got some comments over here.
Oh man, Man in the Box 911 said, "Yo, when K-Dot dropping?" I'm asking the same fucking question.
We're all sitting
It's
here
been
waiting.
5 years almost.
We're all waiting.
I'm
We are
waiting
all
for it.
waiting.
And then he said, "Dope shirts, boys." Well,
Thanks.
thank you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Probably his more
You
than
can
mine.
probably, but you can buy his.
These are all dope. I like all.
All right. So, you're up 1-0-0.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right.
I'm glad that our guest is winning though. I mean,
The next one is
Ideal world.
yeah.
the next one is condoms and bread.
Like cartoons and cereal.
Hi, you left your 36 value pack of condoms and your organic multigrain whole wheat bread at my farmer's market table this past Saturday. You included the receipt for the condoms, which both shocked and delighted me. I really had no idea condoms were this expensive. Shocked because although these look like really good ones, they set you back almost 40 bucks. Delighted because if no one claims them, I'm exchanging them for 4 tubes of Maybelline Great Lash Mascara, a true classic, and some sunscreen. I didn't see you, nor did any of my employees, but I imagine you to be a male, born in the 90s or 2000s. Optimistic yet cautious, health conscious yet carb loving. Maybe a long distance runner? Question mark? Would make sense in the stamina department as well, or maybe you are in a band. I asked around, but no one was admitting anything to me. I learned that people don't appreciate being asked if they misplaced their condoms, and really, I was just trying to help and bust your balls, but only a tiny bit.
Ooh.
I just feel like if I ever spent
Bust
40
your
bucks
balls
on
more ways than
condoms
one.
and $6 on a loaf of bread while buying a $7 juice, I'd be so mad. So let me know if these are yours. I'll bring them this weekend to the market.
That was
That
a
was a lot of
fucking
game. That was
essay.
She knew what she was doing in that one.
All right, this one is called To the Girl at the CVS in DeLand, Florida.
Oh, I've been there.
You helped me get the right tampons for my girl at the time, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Asshole.
You were a huge help. You were asking me what type of flow she has, and I responded with, "What? She don't rap." And you bursted out laughing, and then helped me find the right ones for her. Well, needless to say, we broke up. Do you still work at that CVS?
Oh my
Yo,
god.
if that one's
dude.
you have a future in this.
I'm
I
going
don't
to say the second one because you can just go to the CVS and check.
I'm going with the first one because it's super fucking long, and I just have this feeling that everyone's gonna go against the first one, and that's exactly how we're gonna lose. And then he spent his fucking time writing that first one.
I'm gonna go with we're guessing which one is
That he wrote.
he wrote. I think you wrote the second one.
Okay, so you're
Second, I say two.
second.
I'm first.
Second. I wrote the second one.
Oh my god, man! The one, see, just when I go against my gut, I knew it. The whole thing was so long.
That's the condom and bread one. She even took a picture.
It was so detailed.
Yo,
It was so
but
detailed.
wait a second. Hold on.
Organic multi-grain wheat bread. The whole thing. Like,
That's why I knew I should have went with the other one, man. I just like.
Can we talk about Austin's use of flow?
That's my favorite
That
one.
one was very
That's
funny.
my favorite one I
I
wrote.
don't rap.
She doesn't rap.
You want me to read it again?
Oh my
Yes,
god.
read it again. Encore. Encore.
To the girl at the CVS in DeLand, Florida. You helped me get the right tampons for my girl at the time, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. You were a huge help. You were asking me what type of flow she has, and I responded with, "What? She don't rap." And you bursted out laughing, and then helped me find the right ones for her. Well, needless to say, we broke up. You still work at that CVS?
Bro.
That is fucking crazy.
Also, what a fucking angle to take, right? Like, what an angle to
The
take.
dude is literally living vicariously through fake people.
Right.
Like, he literally just like out of body experience is just literally living somebody else's life that he's making up.
Sausage party, fucking Fox said.
Fucking Fox said sausage party.
Whatever.
Wait, the movie? Have y'all seen the movie?
The movie-
I have,
Crazy
yeah.
fuck.
The
Okay.
movie's insane. The
By the
orgy
time
at the
they-
end.
By the time you get to the
Oh
end,
my
you're like,
god.
holy shit.
Yeah. Dude, I watched that with my dad.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I made that mistake. It came out.
Sausage party watching a sausage party.
A lot of people didn't see that movie, and I was like, at the end, I was like, oh.
I saw that with my dad and my cousin, and when the orgy started happening, we were like,
Alright.
alright. Next. To the officer that saw me smoking weed on my drive home. You scared the fuck out of me when you pulled up on the side of me. But when you rolled the window down and smiled, I knew you were a gangsta. You a real one, chief.
I'm stunned.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, I destroyed everything, but I can't even believe this is real life.
I mean, half this stuff is your stuff.
Alright, next. I gave you an accidental back scratch. We were strangers in the
Accidental?
27th row on a flight. We didn't even exchange hellos. You seemed queasy and kept putting your head on the seat in front of you. I was high on cold medication and decided you needed a back scratch. We both realized what was happening, but it was too late. I scratched your back in an affectionate manner for at least 5 seconds, and no more than 10. I patted your back awkwardly at the conclusion of my back scratch, and then pretended to be asleep. If you're reading this, I'm sorry.
I have no
This one's
clue.
tough.
I don't have a fucking idea at
I know
all.
he's gonna be wrong.
I want to say A. You wrote A. I want to say you wrote A. But then again, I don't know.
What is the
That's
score right now? What is the score?
What do you have? You have
crazy. I
2?
say A. Oh, I got 2.
You have 2, 1, 1?
I haven't won at all.
Oh, 1. So 2, 0, 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Dude,
I'm
this one
gonna
is a
go-
toss-up, bro. What the fuck?
I'm gonna go with you wrote. This is.
Do you want me to read it again?
Nah, I know him. I just know that I'm going against what my gut.
Man in the Box 911 said number 2, so I'm
Number
going to
2?
take your answer. I'm going to go with number 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with
In the
number
box.
2 as well.
And then you said what?
I say A1.
He said the first
You were
one.
right.
God damn, I knew it!
Damn,
I
he
was
is
gonna say
shredding
one
us
thing-
right now.
Oh my god.
Hey, this is the teaching practice. You learn writing styles and stuff like that.
Oh, he's analyzing your fucking linguistics.
This is
Yeah,
why,
I
dude.
keep going against
This
the
is
first
exactly why I wanted to do this segment with him.
Oh,
Because I'm kind
shit.
of a poet myself when it comes to
You
that.
are good. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna lie.
He's
You
killing
are a good writer. sir.
Killing it,
You
right?
got- you got a
It
little
took me
bit-
3 hours.
Yo, last time we did this took him 20 minutes.
He literally
Yeah.
sat on this couch, was all puppy dog eye, like, "Rrr," like getting all
Sorry,
upset
boys,
'cause
my
he-
bad. Yo, your guess was just as good
Hey,
as mine.
bro.
That was crazy.
You see how hard this is? This is
Alright.
ridiculous.
Next. Sorry for running naked through the neighborhood. To whom it may concern.
Sorry.
I apologize for running naked through the neighborhood at around 8 p.m. this evening. I was deathly afraid that I would lose something that is extremely important to the effect of me being a man.
8 p.m.'s way
As
too
you
early
see,
for that.
I was partaking in the activity with my girlfriend when she became enraged at the fact that I knew about her affairs with another man. She informed me that she was going to get something that would make things a little more interesting. When she returned, she had one of our kitchen knives in her hand. At that point, I was not about to take my chances and immediately took the initiative to seek safety in a friend's house down the block. I was lacking common sense and did not spare a moment to become dressed. Thus the reason that I was not wearing any clothes. At this point, all is well, and I do not want any ill will with any of my trusting neighbors. The situation has been rectified, and order has been returned to my household with the absence of my now ex-girlfriend. Thank you for your understanding, The Naked Runner. Location, Palmetto, Florida.
Jeez.
Oh, that.
You don't know?
Man in the Box said this is all a ploy to get us to listen to your poems.
Yeah.
He's the real poet!
Austin's moonlighting.
Hey, I support you, Austin.
I appreciate you.
Austin is secretly writing all of these and misconnections already, so then he brings them and we're acting like it's somebody else versus Austin, but it's really just Austin versus Austin the whole time.
He's gonna do it to us in like 3 streams. He's like, they were all mine.
Yeah, all of them. I wrote all those motherfuckers.
Alright, next one. And the finale. So, this one's called Penis Caught in My Zipper in Bathroom. I had just gone in for a normal pee, but the way you pounded and pounded and pounded on the door screaming, out, I have diarrhea, out. For the love of God, come out. It's coming out of my butt, please. Please! Got me so turned on that I got an erection. Then, because your kicking started splintering the door, I quickly yanked up my zipper and caught my penis up in the process. I'm sorry again for the screaming as you pushed me down and sat down with the door hanging off its hinges. But the look of sheer horror and embarrassment we shared has captured my heart. Please describe what I was wearing so I know it's you.
Holy fuck, that was a lot.
Yo.
Well, I'm definitely already super lost, and there's no way that I'm gonna even putting any points on the board is gonna do anything for my mental. So I really do think I'm gonna go with my gut. I think you wrote the first. No, yes. I think you wrote the first one.
Okay.
Yes, I think you wrote the first one because it wasn't even. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were both long.
Yeah, I can't. I feel like I want to say second one. Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
I
You
want
won
to-
already, so it's fine.
I'm gonna pick second one because he's picking them all.
I'm going for yeah.
It was the second one.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Wait, you wrote?
I'm going to take a little bit of a thing that Austin has done that we for sure need to bring back.
Yeah.
I think you know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
We all
We're going
know.
to end this stream out. Open your third eye, y'all, because I'm going to ask you to name off your top 5 life advices to anyone listening
my
or that
God.
you would tell.
5?
Yes, top 5 life advice that you would tell any of your young ones, anybody listening, anybody out there at all.
Even if you don't make it, it always leads into good conversations. So just,
Yeah.
what would you tell someone coming up in one of these meat sacks?
Well, I got like 2 or 3 that I do tell everybody. Wait, I'm not
He basically called people meat sacks. And
I said, what would you tell someone coming
Growing
up,
up in meat sacks.
existing in one of these meat sacks?
Oh, yeah. Yo, it's funny you said that. I was in the shower the other day. Literally, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, yo, this is literally just a bag filled with organs.
Thank you again for coming as you do every Tuesday. If you haven't, welcome for your first time coming. It is live from the RV. Every Tuesday around 6-ish. Sometimes early, sometimes late. It don't matter. 6-ish is what we do. Okay? We hang out. We talk about things. From a UK fan out there. You know what it is.
Is this loaded?
Yeah, that one isn't, I don't think.
Hold on.
But we have ammunition.
Let's use
Yeah,
proper
we
gun
always have
safety.
ammunition.
Always keep it downrange.
I believe in gun safety.
I hope everybody is having a great Tuesday because we all know that Tuesdays follow Mondays and Mondays are stupid. Except for Austin, who apparently loves Mondays because he makes money in the stock market.
Just had some DiGiorno before we started. Some DiGiorno pizza.
He made sure not to eat the frozen wings here.
There were no frozen wings.
But he
with
brought
it at all.
4. But he bought 4 slices in a Ziploc bag for the party.
They were good. They were good slices.
Thank you.
This is what we're talking about here.
This is the alleged DiGiorno pizza.
DiGiorno.
I'll take that.
That looks fabulous.
Is that someone want that?
I definitely do not.
Yeah, we're
Who
good.
brought the delivery?
We're gonna introduce ourselves.
I did deliver the DiGiorno.
Yeah.
Starting to the right, eating the kind of slightly, I guess, delicious DiGiorno pizza
Fire.
is Austin Huddle Vision, Huddle_Vision on Instagram.
Prepare.
With it. HVTV, baby.
HDHV.
God damn it.
It's
Because
alphabetical.
content.
The D comes before the V. It's alphabetical. The D goes before the V. Now you won't forget it.
That sounds really crazy.
mean, I
that means 2 things.
Yeah, that's
The man over here next coming down is your boy at Sounds Like Kona, CONA. All the music you listen to in the back that we're playing, you can, that he made here in the RV. You can also check out his project on Spotify and Apple Music. I don't know why, my brain just farted.
It's okay. Don't look it up.
No, look it up.
Don't you dare listen to my music.
Made this in the RV with his friends. His beat title, so check that out. It's your boy Lundy, Lundy. You can check me out at Luns813.
Not what, Kona.
Definitely not.
I got a project out called These Days that you can check out on Spotify and Apple Music as well. These days. And of course, the man that needs no introduction, illustrious guest. The illustrious of all illustrious.
Poet extraordinaire.
Boom boom.
I doubt.
Dennis Amadeus.
Amadeus!
Round of snaps from the in-studio audience. Round of snaps.
I like this music too. It's a great intro track.
Thanks, bro.
I want to thank you for being our guest on here. How's your day going?
My day has been great. Even better now that I'm here with y'all, man. Enjoying myself, kicking back, relaxing, able to talk that good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, so we met. We didn't actually meet on this day. I'm not sure. You've performed at Shuffle, right?
Yeah.
He was featured a couple
So
weeks ago.
yeah, so I was like, I'm definitely I've seen you there. I like one of the times I've seen you on stage that really sat with me is I saw you at the Vault for the Mansion music.
Yeah,
he opened up the whole thing and it was wild.
Such a good night.
That was so crazy good. Everybody was dressed fantastic. You had a great getup as well, which I thought was lit. We also got to hang out a little bit at on Memorial Day at Wes's house.
Yep.
Which was awesome because I got to see you freestyle. We're all freestyling in the living room.
Yeah.
So it was wild as hell. That was cool stuff.
When I first got into this, like I was very, I'm a good networker. I like to talk to people. I'm very extroverted. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
super extroverted. You know what I mean? And so I get my energy from other people and being around people. And so in the beginning, I came on strong, like super strong. You know what I'm saying? And so I would try to force my way into people's lives, and you know what I mean? Like if there was a producer I wanted to work with, I'd be like, yo, what's your cash app? I'm gonna send you $75 right now to do this beat with me. You know what I mean? And then but then you realize real quick, like people are put off by that because
Yeah.
I used to feel that way. You can't force yourself into somebody's life. Yeah. And I think that's one thing I had. Like, we saw each other. I was a little bit, I think, older, and like I wasn't just like, oh, I saw this guy 2 times. We gotta be best friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta be best friends.
I feel that like in a hot take that me and Kona always kind of go back and forth on, was like freestyling, because like your version of that was like my version of freestyling all the time. Like always, like you actually just said that earlier, where you were like, if I was rapping, I would just rap all the time. Like I just rap constantly, and I literally used to do that constantly. But I feel like just like you were saying, like at some point you don't want to interject yourself like that all the time. Some people are turned off by that, and so I think now I spend way less time freestyling unless we have moments like Memorial Day where like the vibe was there. People were doing it anyway, so it didn't matter, and you just kind of like did it. Nobody was forced to do anything.
That's what everybody wanted in that space.
Exactly. So it was great. Please check out www.DennisAmadeus.com. He has all kinds of videos, his about me, his links to everything that he kind of deals with, and stuff that he's into. But I do want to give you the platform to kind of like talk about that. Well, what was your introduction to poetry in general? Did it start off maybe doing music and end in poetry, or did you always kind of know that just writing poetry was your thing?
So honestly, man, writing was always something that I was gifted with, and I learned at a real early age that because I figured out I could bullshit like an essay. And so like my first realization of that was in 6th grade, where we had an essay contest. I procrastinated till the end of the day, until like the day before, and when I just wrote like a poem. You know what I mean? I wrote down the name of the school. It was Sullivan Ave, and you know what I mean. I put each word, and I wrote a sentence for each word. Right.
Nice.
So that was probably one of my first poems I've ever written, actually. And I didn't expect to win. I was like, well, I did the assignment, graduate, and go into 7th grade. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm sitting there, and they're calling the winners. They call it the 3rd, they call it the 2nd. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there like, oh, this is cool. Oh, I didn't get 3rd or 2nd? Well, good for the winner. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to go home and eat some whatever. You know what I mean? Bro, and then like first place winner, Dennis Amadeus, bro. First time in my life, my jaw dropped. Like, me? Like, what, bro? And so that was the first indicator, man. And like my mom, she was always on me from that point on. She was like, yo, you're a writer. You're clearly a writer. You need to write. But of course we don't listen to our moms, right?
Guilty.
Yo, that is super dope though that your mom said that though, because as parents, they want you to go more down like that corporate route and everything. Like
Yeah.
she's fully supportive of what you're doing
That
right
is
now.
cool. I'm
Well, my
always
mom
like,
was also an artist, so
Okay.
in her own way. Like what she, so I'm a German citizen. Just to give a quick background,
That's
German
what you're
citizen.
saying.
My biological father is actually from Mali, Africa.
Okay.
I'm not a citizen of America. But I have been here since I was about 5 years old. I'm 33 now. But so my mother, when she was in Germany, she was a fashion model. My mother was very, very beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Especially when she was younger. She was like, you know, drop dead. You know, the ideal kind of thing, right? Not to get weird about it.
Yeah, you're good. We get you.
But she was like a fashion model. My mother can also sing very well too. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So she was a fashion model. She was a singer, and I actually didn't notice till recently. Cause I think I'm like, Mom, you should have told me this earlier. I would have had a little bit more confidence when I was younger. But like she was in that world where they were trying to push her to be like famous and be big and to be, you know what I mean? Because she had the voice, she had the look, she had all that.
Yeah.
But my mom is like very independent, and she realized real quick what involved with that. Like she wasn't trying to sleep with nobody to get there. She wasn't trying to do all this other be fake. Like my mom is like very centered, and her integrity is like immovable. You know what I mean? And so she kind of left it behind, and she just sang for fun from that point on.
Right.
And so that's kind of now that I know that, it makes me help me understand a little bit. But I said that all to say, you know, that's why she was so supportive of me when she saw that I had a gift, because she was like, "Yo, you need to do something with this."
Right.
And like I said, I actually in high school I actually told myself I didn't like writing. Right? I was like, I hate writing. Out of all the subjects, I hate writing the most. 6th grade was the first indicator. You know, I grew up. And my next really big indicator was in 12th grade. And I come from New York. You know what I mean? My stepfather was in the Air Force, and we ended up in New York. So, and not New York City, but like an hour and a half, 2 hours up state a little bit. The 12th grade comes, and I get in a little. There's these things called in New York. It's called the Regents exam. So down here you got the FCAT. Right in New York it's called the Regents exam. Okay. So in 12th grade, that's when you got to do your English Regents. Or no, I'm sorry, 11th. I messed up. 11th grade. That's when you got to do the English Regents. So that's your big exam for high school for English. Now what they did, it's just 4 essays. That was it. It was 4 topics. Write an essay on these topics, bro. I got a 65 barely passing in that English class, but I got like a 90 on that essay because it was just when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is easy. I can just bullshit this. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. I bullshitted that essay. Bro, you know this teacher, I'm mad about this to this day. This teacher who did not like me, you know what I mean? Who put me down, and this is a whole nother story. She thinks I stole a test, which I never stole, and she never like let go of that. And I never stole it, you know what I mean? But anyways,
Right.
She had the nerve the next year to be like, this is what going through my class can give you, because even somebody like Dennis Lemmerman can get a 90 on the Regents. You know what I'm saying? Had nothing to do with her class, everything to do with my writing ability. You know what I'm saying? My talent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Damn.
And
So she took
She
it
fucking-
all.
she took all of that, bro.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. That's why I need to become
What a
famous,
bitch.
just to go back to her class. Like, yeah,
What's her
just
name?
to go back
What's
to
her
her
name?
class. Huh?
What's her name?
I don't want to say it. Her name was Miss Lambert. And the thing was, she was actually
Miss Lambert.
She actually was a good teacher, though.
She just tried to take all the credit.
Right.
Okay, nah.
She just wasn't teaching me that way.
Come on, man. You knew deep down inside my man was writing from the heart.
From the heart.
Whether he was
You stole
bullshitting
it.
you,
Yeah.
Copyright.
you just mad because he had it in him the whole time. You
But
wasted your time trying to teach him something you already knew.
And what's crazy?
Maybe she still feels bad about it. She's like, man, that one time Dennis did all the work and I took the credit. That's why I got this pension.
What's crazy about that story? You said you didn't even like writing. I was looking at your IG earlier today, and it looks like, dude, you're in it. Like you're really studying the fundamentals and the craft of poetry. It seems like.
That's the behind the scenes work. You know what I'm saying? It's like studying. But it comes from, I genuinely love the art form. You know what I'm saying? Like once I found a voice in it, once I found like, yo, I'm good at something, and I don't have to be work extra hard at it. You know what I mean? Like I think before I found poetry as like a career thing, the best thing I was at is like basketball.
Me too.
I was like
Before the video.
I was like sitting on the bench in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I was good at street ball.
There's so many good people. Like,
But
Absolutely.
like that was my best skill at the time, and I had to work kind of hard to be mediocre at basketball. And I love basketball. Don't get me wrong. But when I did a poetry slam in 2012, and that was when my whole life changed. That day, that was the day that my whole life changed.
What's your process like when you put together, a poem for yourself? Right. Do you think it's closely related in how people would do raps, or do you go about it? You think in a different way because you can't freestyle. So I wonder if you think they coexist, or writing a whole portion of something for a poem is completely separate in your process. How do you kind of start and finish in a sense?
Yeah, man. I mean, so I will say it is possible to freestyle a poem.
Yeah.
I've been to poetry slams for the last 9 years. There's a poet named Ed Mabry, and this dude freestyles a poem every single year on the biggest stage at the festival, and he wins because of it every single year.
Really?
So people can freestyle poetry. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds like somebody just going in, like, you know what I'm saying, like talking some good ass shit. You know what I mean? That's like, that's what ends up happening. But to answer your question directly, there's like multiple processes when it comes to poetry. There's my most natural, like if I never put any craft effort into it, and my most natural process, it's something has upset me, I need to get this shit out. I can't beat nobody up no more because I'm fucking too old for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
Something has upset me, I need to get it out, and all my feelings need to be exposed. They need to be out. And so I'll write a piece, everything about it. It don't gotta make sense, it don't gotta be coherent, but everything I feel needs to be out. And then if I still feel the same way, or if I feel like the conclusion I came to was powerful or educational or inspirational in some way, then it's like, okay, how can I put this in a format that's presentable in a spoken word form, right? So that's like the most natural way. Is like, I'm upset, I need to fucking write. That's the first step. Then there's the other step. There's the craft aspect. I really believe in craft a lot, right? Craft is the intentionality behind the art, right? Like a lot of people can make art in an emotional state, right? And it's good regardless, right?
Yeah.
But
just different
for
skills.
me, the craft is the shooting in the gym, right? Can you write a 16 bar? Can you write a good 16 bars when you're not in an emotional state, right? That's the craft aspect of it. So. And that's what I want to be able
being able to tap in.
Natural.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Tap in. I like that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like being able to find that creative place no matter what emotional state you're in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that would be the second concept where it's like, oh, you know what? I think this concept or this idea is super duper dope, so I'm gonna kind of merge these, and then now that takes a little bit more time, right? Now that poem will take months, maybe even a year to write, because there's something intentional that I'm trying to pull together. You know what I mean? And then I think the third process is kind of like, because I write a lot just to get sit out, or I'll write like small poems or like stuff that doesn't see the light of day, to say. And then if I'm like, yo, I want to put something together for a specific, like somebody hot commissions me to write a poem, then I'll go back into my books and I'll look through stuff that makes sense to the theme I'm saying and write something around that. So those are kind of the three processes that I have, right? It's like, it's the passion, and you can almost tell if I tell you these processes and you listen to all my poems, you'll be like, that was a passion.
I can see the passion.
That was a craft
right
poem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And that was,
that's dope.
you know what I'm saying? You could tell he's talking about some old stuff or something like that.
He broke that down quite masterfully.
No, I was
That
actually just
pretty
thinking that in my head too, and I'm like, well, it makes a lot of sense that he can put it into that format too, because he does teach kids. So like, in which case, I think I was just literally, as you were talking, I'm like, I do feel like I'm learning something. Like he's really teaching me about this, and I feel like this is exactly how a class with him would be like. Talk a little bit about that though. You teach kids in this sense of what kind of stuff do you feel like you're wanting to bring to them the table? Because I know you're saying sometimes you deal with troubled youth a little bit too. Right. A lot of these kids probably don't feel like they're as supported, but you're giving them some type of a forum to be able to talk about that and come out. Did you put a little bit of like how you were growing up into that, or did something happen in your life that you felt your calling to be like, I feel like I need to be teaching these kids or helping these kids also find an outlet in a sense, just like you did?
Yeah, man. So like, my mom was very supportive, right? But we had a lot of tumultuous times. You know what I mean? And me not having a lot of family and being from another country. My parents had a very violent, angry divorce. You know what I'm saying? Because my identity was so rooted in where I grew up, I decided to stay with my stepfather rather than like my biological mother. That created a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Imagine.
Oh, yeah.
My mother being the person she was allowed that, you know, because she didn't have to allow that, but she allowed it. And then my stepfather, you know, God rest his soul, but he, you know, we didn't have a very good relationship in the later years because because of the divorce, he kind of went into a very depressed state, stopped working, we slipped into poverty real fast. So like my high school years was food insecurity, not having phone, not having, you know what I mean? That's when like the realities of poverty hit me for the first time, you know what I'm saying? And so I know, and here's the thing that's crazy about that is like that age, 18, 19, 20, those are like some of your most important years when it comes to that transition to adulthood, you know? And at that time, I had a beautiful neighborhood called Bruce Street, like that I grew up on. So I always thank God for that because they made sure that I wasn't like starving to death or, you know what I mean, like going off the rails, or like they were a really awesome community. There was a lot of times where I wish somebody would have fucking put something in my hand or brought me somewhere or done something to push me into something that would let me see a little bit more value in myself and gave me an opportunity to figure out what I wanted to do in the world. When I was young, I was so lost. I lacked so much self-worth that everything I was defined by the world around me, what I thought I was supposed to be. I came from a black street and I looked the way I looked. So, you know what I mean? That was a whole identity issue. And then, you know what I'm saying?
I cannot believe how similar we are. Seriously.
Right.
I grew up the same way. I grew up in that black neighborhood. I was white, but the thing that kind of helped me and that kind of gave me more self-worth, because mine was still low too, was basketball.
Yep.
Basketball.
That helped me. That helped me a lot. Same. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so and then my stepfather was black, and I grew up in a very, the black neighborhood. But then also the town I grew up in was a small racist white town, so that's why there's so much community on that black street. Because they had to have community.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They had to have each other's back. And so anyway, so that's the whole. But the point I was trying to get at was that lack of self-worth lasted for a while, and when I didn't find real self-worth until I found poetry. Because poetry gave me the power to define my story for myself.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life. And that right there, that key thing right there is what I bring to every single classroom with these kids.
Yeah.
Because all of them have the same issue. They've been silenced their whole life, whether through systemic oppression, through their parents, through being young, through school. They've been silenced their whole life. They go through all this traumatic, crazy shit, and they're never allowed to process it or to talk about or to, you know what I mean? Or they do process it, but they process it in anger and drugs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it's undeniable. Like, I've seen it firsthand. But I could tell you, it is undeniable the power to giving these young people the ability to they decide what their life was, not what the hell everybody else said their life should have been or what they should have experienced. You know what I'm saying?
I totally believe that shit too. It's like when I was scrolling through your IG and I mentioned that live that you have with Kenneth something.
Yeah.
Like it really hit me, that last poem you had, because you said something like you feel it, or you don't like others to feel inadequate, but you also didn't want to cross that line of being an ass kisser as well.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's kind of tough, man, because like you want to give all these people praise and whatnot, and then you're judged for it a lot sometimes too.
That's a struggle I deal with now, like right now. You know what I'm saying? Like if I fuck with you, I fucks with you. If your music is good, I'm fucking with you while you perform your music. You know what I'm saying? But like. And I've learned to overcome it because that's who I am. I'm not faking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not fucking putting on a show. Like, I fucking love this shit. This is how I jam. And if I'm in the song, I'm in the moment, in that song. You know what I'm saying? And so I do worry about that, though. Like, I feel like people are looking at me like, oh, he's a dick rider. Or he's like, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, man. One of my gifts in this world is to be able to show love and praise.
Edify.
Bring people's energies up. Like, I want to utilize that. You know what I'm saying? Like
edification. I lived my life off of edification, man. I was 18 and I learned that at a very young age. And that's something that I deal with too, because you see these two amazing artists right here, and sometimes I feel inadequate. Like we walk into some place and I feel inadequate, right? Like because I don't bring a certain something like they do.
But he definitely does.
But I do. In reality, I do. But I definitely come off as an ass kisser, because like I'll be in public and I'll be bragging about his album, his fucking songs, like, and it's talking about someone else, and I can definitely like see.
I definitely feel like we have the same energy.
Absolutely.
Like I felt that the moment you walked in here. Like I was like, oh, I could relate.
Absolutely, man. I could feel.
But don't ever fucking deny that shit, because
I can't stop, man. Like fucking.
Your words are power, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And I love these two, and they sometimes don't talk about their shit. I gotta be the one to talk
I was
about
just
it.
thinking that the whole time.
Right.
The whole time you were talking about that, I was like, it's because I barely fucking say anything about my shit. And I literally feel like a lot of, I don't know if it's just like rappers or just music artists in general or whatever. I don't know how you feel about it, but like, I have a hard time. I think it's because it's so personal. A lot of the time when you put a lot of yourself into these things, a bit of you in your subconscious is still scared of what everybody's
Still
gonna
wants to
say
take it
about
back and hide it away,
But
you know?
you
Still want to put it back in the vault.
Right? More of you is just like, whatever, I gotta express myself, I'm
Yeah.
gonna put it out there, why not, let's go. And you put it out there and people fuck with it or they don't, it's whatever. But a part of you is like, I'm saying this and this is a part of me. So when you do put it out, that's like the last time you're like, here you go, I hope you find it. And maybe you say it again like once a week for like another month, and then after that, after it's been out for like a month or whatever, you're like, alright, it's there.
But you have this guy who's gonna make dumbass Snapchats on his story, listening to it in his car, fucking boy jamming that shit, mouthing the words wrong.
I listen to my music a lot. And that's what's funny about it. Like, I listen to our music a lot. I listen to my homies' music a lot. Like, I listen to my music a lot. I go back and listen to the old stuff I used to do and line it up all the way into the new stuff and where I'm at now, just to hear the journey. You know what I mean? And to hear where I was at and how much better you got over time. But like, if people are like, oh, I heard you do me, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, you rap?
Yeah, that's the same thing with Kona. Kona will be like, yeah, I make music. I'm like, make music? This man makes fucking hits. Like, this is me. Like, this man makes fucking hits. You gotta check his shit out. I'll be the one to speak up.
I had no idea. Right, agree. I was like, because I met Kona. Kona's like, yo, I got this podcast. We talked a little bit. We connected.
I met
was
at the art walk.
Kona seemed dope as shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wish I was there that night.
I listened to his stuff over the weekend, trying to get ready for the night. I was like, bro, this dude is nice. What the fuck? I'm like, this ain't no slouch here.
I appreciate
I've
that,
known, man. From the get-go, dude. He's been producing my music since I was able to. Very first time I've ever been into a studio set up and be able to record myself and hear myself back and work on a song was with him, and it's just been like that. Like from the get-go, I was, I don't know if I was just surprised at all, but I just, I think I was just surprised because he was the first person that finally was like, yeah, I make beats, and then you hear it and you're like, fuck yeah, you
yes,
do.
thank you.
Yeah, you make some fucking beats. Yeah, you do.
Do you make beats or do you make?
You know what I mean?
It is hard to talk about it though. Like to your point, like I find myself acting very awkward as soon as people start mentioning my music and like just talking about it and like wanna, because it's a personal thing, But I did share it for that reason. I'm learning.
To your point, there's also like people do tend, sometimes people like will aggrandize you. That happens to me sometimes. You know what I mean? Like where I'll get on stage and I'll do a really good set and I'll be in the zone and I'll be in a moment and I'll have a really, really good set. And then I get off stage, get a lot of love, you know what I mean? The audience is loving it, blah, 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 I'll get some sales. But then you get one or two people who kind of want to put you on this ridiculous pedestal. And you're like, slow down. I'm a regular ass person. You put a little work in my writing, you know what I mean? But people, especially because I talk about God.
Literally exactly what I did when I saw your performance at the art walk, because you did that poem about your spirituality, and it like really fucking hit me in a way that was very similar, and I did the same thing. I was like, yo, I want to talk about that.
But I mean, that's conversation. You weren't like, oh my God, you are amazing. Oh my God, like you need to preach my church and blah blah blah. You get like, the people get like so over the top. I'm like, I appreciate that you appreciate my work, but because immediately I'm like, you think I am somebody I'm not. I'm not this, because they'll see you talk about faith. And I don't swear in my poems, so I think they automatically assume that I'm this great Christian, perfect person, and that's I'm not. You're gonna get disappointed if that's what you think I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm just honest, and I just walk through this life just as struggle as everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
I love that you said that too, because in that last poem with the IG Live with Ken something, it really hit me because you mentioned when you started writing this poem, what happened before is you laid your hand on your woman, like you grabbed her shirt or something.
Oh, that poem.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That was a deep poem. Yeah.
It was, and I fucking took some of this and I wanted to read it. Like you said, no more will my motivation come from being liked by the cool kids.
Yep.
No more will I sacrifice my dignity for the sake of a good time. No more will I be a part of the very brood of snakes I claim so many religious institutions to be, which we all relate to on that. And you said, no longer am I. You said along the lines of no longer am I going to work for other people or like be noticed by other people, because if I do that, I won't be noticed by God. And I'm like, that shit hit hard.
Man, I now know what poem you're talking about. But see, right there, oh my God, I'm glad you brought that up. Because that poem is such a great example of the power of poetry, dog. So I'll be honest about what happened, right? If I can do it. I can expound on what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to put any names out there. But, so what ended up happening was, there was the poetry community is pretty tight-knit, right? So if a poet comes into town, the culture is to show them mad love, show them your city, give them a place to stay, put some food, money in their pocket. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of one of the beautiful things about our community, is that we're very supportive of each other in that way, right?
Yeah.
And we believe in what we're doing. And so there was some poets that came into town. They had done a feature, and it was at the time, again, this is when I was younger, so I was putting people on pedestals. As I was talking about people do to me, I was putting people on these poets on pedestals. Right. And so I wanted to hang out with them, right? They said they were too tired. That was cool. A friend of mine was like, nah, fuck that. Because we ended up setting up like a whole, like, kind of little party for them. And they were like, nah, we don't want to come. And so I was like, all right, whatever. But my friend was like, nah, fuck that. We set this up. They gonna come, right? So she gets on the horn. She kind of pressured them to come. They show up, and you could tell that they're just, they're tired. They're traveling artists. They, you know what I mean? And I understood that. I wasn't too upset. I was a little upset because they had asked. They're like, yo, we want to do this. It's called drive-by. It's not a drive-by shooting. Well, we call it, in poetry, we call it drive-bys.
Right.
It started from people driving by, spitting a poem, and then leaving. But, so we set this thing up, and the poet, they got there, and they were just, you know what I mean? They were down. And I think the poet is a very arrogant, shit-talking poet. Again, not a bad person, but just arrogant. He has a lot of, and he has reason to be. He's very successful.
Big
you know
ego.
what I'm saying? Huh?
Big ego?
Yeah, exactly. And so he was starting to kind of come down on me, and he was like giving me a lot of, like, cracking jokes on me and stuff like that. Now, I'm not too sensitive unless I don't fuck with you. Right? There's certain levels. Now, as much as I put him on the pedestal, like, I don't know you enough to be talking shit to me.
Right.
You know what
now
I mean?
you're getting offended.
Now, I'm in this environment. Now, mind you, I have 2 of my students there with me also. You know what I'm saying? And now they're older. They're not like high schoolers. They're like maybe 19,
so
20.
they're going to understand what's going on here.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I brought them there to meet these people, right? Because I was like, yo, these are amazing artists. So now, and we were drinking, smoking, so I was, and now I'm in my feelings, right? And the thing was, he was being brutal. He wouldn't stop fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? Now, old me would have just fucked him up real early. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not that person. I'm not that person, right? And so what ends up happening is I'm stuck in myself. I end up going around the corner, and I can't remember what exactly set it off, but my now wife, at the time just girlfriend, was with me as well.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Congrats, yeah.
And she was with me as well. And what ended up happening was I did something, and she was like, she said something to me, and then she walked away, right? And when she walked away, and for whatever reason, I thought that she was gonna go and tell everybody whatever just happened in the kitchen, right? And it was between me and her. Right. And so I kind of panicked. I was already in my fucking feelings. I was drunk. I panicked, so I kind of grabbed her shirt, no, don't do that. You know, it wasn't violent. It was just no, don't. You know what I'm saying? But I jerked her shirt, and she, this is one of the reasons I married her, turned around right quick, yo, don't ever grab me like that again. You know what I'm saying? And then that was it. You know what I'm saying? And I was then I realized what I did. I was oh shit, you're right, my bad. And so to fast forward this point of that poem, so that's what I was talking about in that poem. And that's what the whole thing that whole night made me realize so much, bro. Because even the people that were my friends in that room sided with them because they were the cool kids, even though they were being fucking assholes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you also, and off of that as well, you said, too many times have I rafted on friendship between rival battleships selling bombs to both sides.
Oh my god. Man,
fucking bars.
I gotta bring that poem back, bro.
Fucking
I'm
bars.
feeling that shit. Who wrote that?
I feel that too, because when I was younger, I was a little more antisocial, but I fed off of negativity too. So the friends that I had back then, believe it or not, they were actually bullies to me.
Yo,
because I make fun of myself, I think of it as humor, and it's my way of coping with it.
Yep.
And it's I'm still cool with them.
Right.
But then it got to a point where I started getting older, and I started they kept friendships that I've had in the past were built off of us making fun of each other, and it gets to a point. It was when I was 18. It got to a point where fucking tired of this shit. I know I've known you for 7 years, but I'm cutting this shit off because like I can't have this negativity in my life anymore. So that's how I took it. Now I don't know if that's how you were pointing it, but I thought of the bombs as like insults.
Well, that's so for me. For me that was a representing of my weakness of like. Because I kept being put in the middle of two people, right? And then because I didn't want to make anybody mad, I would just agree with whatever they were saying. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're like, oh man, Conan's a fucking asshole. I'm like, yeah, man, damn. You know what I mean? Then I'm at Conan's house because I fucked with Conan, right? Conan's like, bloody the fucking dickhead. He did this. Damn, you right? Man. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it wasn't because I was being fake. I was just so fucking scared to be confrontational. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And which again is it's so funny because I come from an environment where I was quick to fight, where I've been in all kinds of scraps, where I've stood up for myself, you know what I mean? And it shows you how different these worlds can be, right? Yeah. Like I got into this poetry world and I got fucking manipulated and taken advantage of. Like I ain't never been through this shit before. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted them to like me so bad. I wanted to be a part of this world so bad. You know what I'm saying? That I was willing to do that. I was willing to all this. What little self-worth I did build, I broke back down because I wanted to reinvent myself into something that they like instead of who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say, like, the best moment of like in my life that like kind of changed the trajectory of it is when I stopped like truly like figured out who the fuck I was, and I stopped giving a fuck what other people thought about me. Like,
and it's still a battle every day.
It is a battle every day because you do want people to like. I want these guys. I want you to like me, obviously.
I like you, bro. I
appreciate it. But you know, once I figured that out, I'm able to do shit that I'm like not, you know, that I didn't do before. Like now I'm out fucking dancing everywhere. Like these days I'm out at work dancing and shit. So it's like I don't know. Life is a lot better that way.
Yeah, man. Bro, the other day, I got a little bit of money. I felt good about myself. I went to fucking 7th Sun Grove and Ybor. I got drunk and I danced by myself all night. Not the other day. That was a couple months ago.
I still need to go to 7th and Grove. Bro.
I felt. I know these motherfuckers like who brought? He's not even. He's in rap shop. Dancing my ass off, bro.
Yeah,
DJ was killing it.
That's
dog.
fucking me.
I was like, I got money in the bank. I fucking feeling good. I made it with my art and skill. You know what I'm saying? Like shit.
I always look at each individual song, and I've always said it as like little letters to myself. Like just like I mentioned, when I go back and I can listen to all the stuff I did before to middle to where I'm at now, it's always little tiny letters to myself. And just like you said, you want to put yourself out there and you want to be able to entertain and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you want to make stuff that's entertaining for you too. That actually does something from the root of you first. Like you're putting yourself first before really being able to like entertain or whatever. That's so secondary, and people don't realize that a lot. Like when
is
as
that
artists.
The idea of letters from Four?
Yeah, 100%. Both letter. I have a track called Letters, and 100% is both of the verses are exactly like that idea. Like I wrote it as in this would be a letter to like my sister, mom, dad, cousins, long distance friends, like anybody who wanted to like know where my head at was at that like point, which is funny because technically that's like how I explain these days, like almost in a bigger concept in a sense. But if I had one song, that's exactly what it was, and that's why I kind of like made those like that paper ripping sounds and stuff that was like it to interpret it if I was like actually writing right there and there. Black on Black Rhyme. Black on Black Rhyme. First of all, I love that name. Like what a creative way to fucking play. Explain that a little bit. Is it more of like a collective, like a group of people, or is this like a type of event or anything of that nature? Because I know you just did a type of event with them or for them, right? So I kind of wanted you to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, man. So Black on Black Rhyme is an international poetry collective.
Nice.
First, but it started in Tallahassee. It started a poet named Keith Rogers. He started it in Tallahassee, and it began in his apartment. So this is where the term drive-by came by. Okay. So he would have poets come by. He would turn he had a red light on the outside. He would turn it on, and that meant it's time for poets to perform. People would come by. Now at that time, poetry wasn't a big commercial art. It was very underground or academic. You know what I'm saying? Right. It grew and it grew and it grew really fast, and it was to the point where the whole apartment would be packed. And nobody could come in. That's where the term drive-by came by, because people would drive up, come inside this packed apartment, do a poem, but there's nowhere to stay or park, so that's drive off. Yeah. And so that's where it started. And then what ended up happening is the first time that it branched out from Tallahassee, and from there it became like a show, an open mic, and then community and all that. It grew from that. And then, but the first time it branched out of Tallahassee was actually in Tampa, and it was started by Wally B. Wally B brought it from Tallahassee to Tampa, and Wally B is like the godfather of poetry in Tampa, bro. He's like started a lot of stuff because he brought this black on black rhyme, and just so people know, black on black rhyme is just what it sounds like. It's to reverse these stigmas of black on black crime, right? That's why we call it a drive-by. That's like, you know, try to put these different terms on these, or put these different spins on these terms,
Right.
And so. Because that's what poets do, right? But,
That's fucking crazy.
But yeah, so Wally brought it here, and then, you know, from there, because Tallahassee's a college town, it was this constant influx of new poets finding black on black rhyme, and then so they built, and then next thing you know, there's one in Atlanta. Next thing you know, there's one in West Palm, Florida. Next thing you know, there's one in South Carolina, and then today they're all over North Carolina, South Carolina. There's one in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East. There used to be one in Singapore, but he moved back to the States. And the cool thing about it is, like, it's about the family more than it is about like kind of the brand. So every chapter is allowed to run their event however they want. You know what I'm saying? But everybody kind of comes back to this. And so we get these chains, we get chained. You know, they have these like cool events. I came later on when everything was more established. So they had these kind of ceremonies and stuff like that. So I got chained. And so how I got involved with it is Phil Scott kind of took it over. Black on Black Rhyme is, I think, still one of the longest running open mics, you know what I mean, in Tampa. And Phil Scott took it over, and when he took it over, he was like, all right, I want a fresh crop of young poets. And so he got 5 of us that were like right on the scene heavy, and he chained all of us, and that's how we got involved in Black and White. So he brought us into that family, and then we got to go to Tallahassee every year. There's a big convergence back in Tallahassee for Black on Black Rhyme Week. So everybody like goes back and meets and travels from wherever. The biggest thing that they gave me was this sense of a family. You know what I'm saying? Right. And a real family. Complete what I wrote that poem about, opposite of that shit, right? Like these people cared about me, you know what I'm saying? Like, they cared about my craft. They made sure I had somewhere to stay. And the biggest thing
kind
about
of like
Black
your teammates on like a basketball team.
Yeah, exactly, man. I was first like busting my chops, bro. Keith taught me to Tallahassee. I was performing in barbershops, salons, hair salons, fucking grocery stores, parking lots. He was bringing me everywhere and making me perform. That's where that's where the idea of the shirt came from, because I was selling the shit. So that was. Keith was the one that taught me how to make this valuable for myself, even if I'm not getting booked by a million shows. You know what I'm saying? And that was like that first hustle mentality as far as poetry and art form. And he kind of helped drive that into me, man. And I carried that ever since. And that's another thing I loved about Black on Black Rhyme.
That's sick, man.
Speaking of things that you're selling, actually, I wanted to get into the waiting on the bus. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So this is my most recent album.
Yeah.
I saw that. It's a USB.
This is an album?
Yeah, on a USB.
What is happening?
Bro, so crazy. I saw it on your website. I was
How much are these? I have cash. Hold on.
Yo, I legit.
They're $10, but I mean, y'all don't got it.
I asked
we on the podcast
on the
right
IG. Now, that's why I DM'd them. I'm like, I hope he brings this. I'm like, yo, can you bring I asked for the second
bus stop.
It's
button.
9. It's 9.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Wait, I might have $1. I might have an actual single dollar.
I have an actual single dollar. You have
I'll take donations. Y'all can all get one.
It's a bus ticket.
Yes, exactly.
It's so fire,
It's called Waiting on the Bus. It's modeled after the actual bus tickets from Tampa.
Hell
crazy.
yeah, that is
How's it
fire as fuck.
dope, dude. And it's got the tracks on the back. Yo, can I
This is amazing, dude.
Yeah. So you gotta slide it up. You gotta. It's sticky in the beginning, so you gotta kind of put your finger in there and really get it up. But
That's so cool, dude.
What the hell?
Yeah.
did all the graphics myself, everything like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
fire.
That is amazing on so many levels.
But I got my license revoked for 5 years, and so that's where this came from.
Okay.
For 5 years, that's what Bus Stop Studies was too. Like for 5 years, I had to write. I was writing and reading and doing all my poetry shit on the bus because I had to wait all the time. And, you know,
That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear the story behind it.
Yep.
Because it sounds so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a come up story a little bit. Like,
It is. It absolutely
you're
is.
writing raps on a bus or like poems on a bus.
Yep.
That's exactly what I thought about it, and
Yep.
that's why I wanted to hear about it. So
I have a poem titled "Waiting on the Bus" about
It's on there.
this thing. Yeah, it's on here. I mean,
Fuck
I
yeah.
Obviously,
I
it's
can't
gotta
wait-
be
I
good.
can't
got
wait
it
to listen.
memorized. If you want to hear it.
Hey,
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
Ask him to do a poem.
So here's the poem, the title track. So I was sentenced to 5 years of waiting on the bus.
Okay.
The true punishment for my license revocation was 5 years of sitting in this 90-degree Florida sun, waiting on a bus that is now 9 minutes late. And I only have 15 minutes to get to a transfer that's 12 minutes away. A $5 bill in my pocket for a fare that doesn't make change. Workday sweaty, frustrated, tired. Phone losing every last bit of its power. On the verge of tears. Because the next transfer won't come for another goddamn hour. How in the hell is anybody supposed to make it in the city riding this damn bus? And I can't do anything except for throwing my hands to the sky and giving up. Since the first grade, I've always had to walk to school. Work out for class because working class parents were too tired or too absent to afford us the privilege of rides. So my best friend Juan and I walked every single day. And I'm from upstate New York, so it wasn't all sunshine and roses. Sometimes it was a football field of 3 feet deep snow. I remember one spectacularly Arctic morning. After 15 long, icy minutes of traversing a freshly laid frozen tundra, seeing my destination shining over the horizon, but being trapped in this cruel punishment of the gods. I mean, how is anybody supposed to make the school on time, walking through this damn snow? To this day, Juan still reminds me of the moment I dramatically dropped to my knees, threw my hands to the sky, and gave up. Now, he would eventually trudge back to me. He would grab my arm with the strength of a 15-year friendship, and you know what he said to me? He said, "Man, you better get up. I don't know if you noticed, but we're the only ones walking through this field, and if you die, they're not going to collect the body until the snow melts, and I'm not going to be the one to tell your mother." True story. But it was like an early life lesson, because it was a reminder that we were not meant to be like everybody else. We were meant to carve our own path. Even if it had to be foot over knee-high, frozen, snow-encrusted foot, until we figured out that the root word of destination is destiny. You see, we as people, we want so badly just to be there already. We forget that there has a process to it all. We shun the road less traveled, forgoing the very strength we can generate ourselves, all the fast-forward and inconveniences that get us there quickest, and we miss those moments when we need to just stop and sit for a minute. There is just here with a T added for time. And maybe it's time we started to see things a little different. Time we came to the understanding that those countless hours spent waiting on our bus are actually given to us to help us find our shine, glowing over the horizon, highlighting the fact that you have somewhere to go, somewhere where somebody actually wants you to be, even if that somebody is just yourself. And it may be frustrating, it may be cruel and unusual, it may feel like being the only person walking through a relentless winter blizzard, but what you are waiting on is much bigger than just a bus. You're waiting on a new beginning. And no matter how late it is or how enraging it is to not have control over your own circumstances, remember, destiny always stays running. So always stay ready. Keep your eyes on your horizon. Keep your hands out of the sky and don't give up. You will have to suffer through a few years of dark times, yo. That's just life. But I promise you, if you stay focused, if you stay true to yourself, if you stay righteous, your bus will climb that hill right behind your morning sunshine. Thank you.
Yeah. I gotta look. All right, look. Here's what's really wild is I went to your website and I watched a bunch of all of them, all the videos that are on there, and I particularly wrote down that exact line. Here is just there with T added for
That's
time.
fine.
I 100 and I tweeted it. I
line.
tweeted it today because I rewatched a couple more and I was like, that is just my favorite one. And I didn't know what it was called, but I just remembered it and I wrote that down because I was gonna just for reference. It is so funny that you said that. They reacted to the same exact line that you said.
Right,
I tweeted it and everything. I made a whole thing. I was like, bro, that was one of the most
T
powerful
for
ones.
time.
So I know we've kind of touched on a little bit already. Like obviously you're teaching when it comes to youth. You are a part of that collective Black on Black Rhyme. So I wanted to ask, who in your mind's eye are some of your biggest influences who you think have kind of like paved either your way or the way for poetry just in general? But also equally, I would like you to either shout out or reference anyone that we should be looking out for, younger, or that you're like mentoring, or just in your collective that you notice that is paving the way for like, you know, future stuff.
Bro, I just had a conversation today. I'm gonna start with that part if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Whichever one you want.
I just had a conversation today. Her name is Jamie Dawson. Right?
Jamie Dawson.
Jamie Dawson is an incredible artist, and she's an incredible poet. But I used to coach her when she was in high school for the youth slam and stuff like that. And she ended up going to college. She did all kinds of amazing stuff. She interned at Hot 97. She graduated. She got a full ride scholarship for her poetry. And again, that's not all me. Like I coached her for slam. You know what I'm saying? Wally is the one that runs that was running the program. When I tell you, yo, this girl is doing everything that you could possibly do to help continue to build this poetry. She has filled in every spot. When it comes, like I used to be the person that tried to gather all the poets and go places. Now she's doing that. You know what I'm saying? I used to be the person that was trying to hit every open mic to see what's hot in the city to be able to translate that. Now she's doing that. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, she's a dope poet. And on top of that, she's actually from the city of Tampa. That's one thing. Like I love Tampa, but I'm not from Tampa. She's from Tampa. So I say, Jamie Dawson is one I say definitely say look out for, because she's doing so much great work, not only as an individual poet, but for our community. She's carrying that legacy on in a real way, bro. And literally today, she just schooled me, bro. Because we were talking about, we got in a little, not a tiff, I'm not going to say tiff, but we got in a conversation about prices. What I think I was telling you about, like prices for open mics and stuff like that. And so we were kind of going back and forth. I'm like, I don't think you should charge $10 for an open mic if you don't have a feature, if you're not having nothing that makes an audience be like, wow, that's amazing, other than hopefully one of the open mics that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But she started bringing, she's like, I don't disagree with you, but she's like, we got to start knowing our worth. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, if we're getting a nice venue with nice drinks, with nice ambiance, with a good DJ, with good music, you know what I'm saying? We can charge $10 for it. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, bro, and I'm like, damn, dog.
Shout out her IG.
What, man?
Her I'll put it in the video.
Oh, I should look that up. I think it might just be, I think it's Dawson the Artist.
Something that I really liked seeing, and I didn't get to see the whole video. I didn't know where to find it because you said it was in your bio, but it was like 2 years ago. Was the Seminole Heights one? Because I'm from Seminole. Is it so? Were you talking about the Seminole, like right up the road here?
No. Seminole Heights is a neighborhood in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, Heights. You're talking about in Tampa.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what's happening right now in Seminole Heights in Tampa? Now there was always kind of Seminole Heights was already, it was always kind of this upper class side, and then not so upper class. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, no negativity. That's where I live. For sure.
It's a class
but
disparity.
The thing is, there's a sense of community that develops sometimes, right? And let me give you the regular story before I get into specifics. So long story short is, I lived in Seminole Heights for about 4 years, right? Which again, that's just the name of like an area in Tampa. When I first got there, it was a regular street. It was a majority black street. It was, I wouldn't say everybody was low income, but it was lower middle class kind of neighborhood.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like violent, you know what I'm saying? Like there was drinking, there was partying, there was barbecues, there was, loudness.
Regular shit.
Huh?
Regular American shit.
Regular American shit. Literally living here for 2 years, I watched, like they had 2 dilapidated houses. They got remade, they got bought. They were dilapidated for years. They got bought up and they moved 2 people in there. But then it started happening all the way down the street, bro. And then what ended up happening, literally in 2 years, bro, they ended up evicting this family. It was a family living there 15 years. The landlord suddenly decided to evict them for past due rent, right? Again, I'm not saying they shouldn't have been paying rent, but it was clearly okay until the landlord was like, oh, I can make some money here. Now the police presence is coming, is starting up, right? So now people are getting like harassed on the corners, where before the cops never came down the street. And I'm not making this up. Like I literally watched this change. You know what I'm saying? And so then a dude buys a house down here. again, doesn't interact with the neighbors. He builds up his own house. He has a wife and a kid, which is cool. Again, like everybody's entitled to their own thing, but has no interaction with the neighborhood around them. And then so ends up happening down this whole street. And that I ended up having to leave, not because of gentrification, but because I wanted to move out from where I was living. I had my fiance. We wanted to get our own place. Fast forward, so that was already happening brutally, right? All those businesses were getting closed down, and the real big kicker that made me really upset that wrote that poem was there was a store built on the top of the street. It used to be a historically black-owned corner store. They tore it down. They built up this fucking new, fancy-ass outdoor like bar food patio, overcharging for hot dogs, basic shit like hot dogs, blah blah, shuffleboard, and like all this other stuff. And it's cool, right? But it was not at all for the people that actually lived in the street.
Exactly.
Right? Not at all. There's no promotion down that street. It was right up the street. They didn't promote to nobody. I didn't see no flyers. I didn't see nothing. And none of them prices said, hey, come get this, right? And that was right up the street. And so that's when I was like, okay. Also, the serial killer thing happened. Did y'all
Seminole Heights killer.
I was right in that neighborhood. Like, it was like this street over here, that street behind me. Oh, you know what I'm saying? That was like right there. And so that, because then they had the guards, and then that exasperated everything. And then they started executing warrants, claiming they were looking for the serial killer, arresting people for weed and old warrants and all this other shit. So that exasperated the situation. Now more people are leaving the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, so I ended up leaving just to finally finish the story. I come back, and this is happening as we speak. I come back, and there used to be this shop on the corner called Grady's Mechanic Shop. And that was like the hub, right? He employed multiple black mechanics. He owned the shop, and he employed people in the neighborhood, and they were very successful. And on Fridays, they would party after work, shut it down. They'd party at the shop. The neighborhood would go to Grady's fucking thing on Fridays and the weekends and party and hang out. And that was like a neighborhood agreed upon thing. Nobody was mad about the music because everybody was there. So anyways, one day, recently, I drive down the street to go to work. Grady's lot is empty. And when I tell you Grady's lot was packed with cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn near on top of each other. Empty, completely empty. So I go to talk to people. Turns out, this lady moves into the house that those people were evicted from, buys the house, and ends up calling the cops on Grady every single night. Every single night. Not only on Grady, on the corner store across the street, on the neighbors to the left of them. Because I know all these people, so I was talking to them about what happened. All of them said it. The corner store was like, we couldn't do anything. Anything he did, she called the cops on him. Bro, and she had connections because the cops would come out and say shit like, hey, we know this is a bullshit call, but we have to show her that we showed up. Also, the corner store across the street, they had a building that she got them to tear down. And here's what bothers me, is that this one person can come into a neighborhood that's been there for 20 years and in a year change the entire fucking neighborhood. What?
That's bullshit.
Because she doesn't like you. Because she didn't like you.
Don't move there. Don't move there.
Yeah, like for her.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, you should know. Anyways, so long story short, the Seminole Heights poem was about the first part. I'm currently working on, I wrote a summary, and I'm writing an article, and I'm trying to pitch it to Tampa Bay Times or Creative Loafing, because it has to be told. Because here's another thing. There's these Seminole Heights groups on Facebook, right? And they talk all this shit on this Facebook group. Guess who's not in that group at all? Anybody living in that neighborhood.
Her.
Anybody living in that neighborhood, except her. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like, wow.
Oh, the
And
other
so,
way
like,
around.
not only is this happening, but they have no avenue to tell their story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, look, I'm fucking mad, and I need to write, and that's what we're gonna do. So I wrote up this summary, and that's what I'm working. I'm getting edited, and I'm gonna send it off, and hopefully it gets picked up. I think it will because of the times.
I know. I really liked hearing that. I didn't know that was going on. You know, that's huge.
does.
Yeah.
I mean, people do. That's the thing. Like, part of the reason that nobody wants to do anything about gentrification is because nobody who's a victim from it has the power to tell what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because if they had the power, they wouldn't have been removed. You know what I mean? They would have fought back or you know what I mean? And when I say power, it can mean anything. That's what, you know what I mean? Whether it be influence with the city, having money to, buy property, whatever.
Can I agree and disagree with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to agree because, like, I understand what you're saying as far as, like, not having power, but I just want to give, like, some sort of a hope or like a shining light and kind of focus it in on like what you're doing. You write an article about that.
Right.
You know, that's writing and being able to get that out is a way that we can change that. If we can really,
absolutely,
you know, get
talking about it
like,
on this show.
Talking about this, like getting articles. So like there is, it does often feel like there's not a lot you can do, and there's a lot of that that's true, but there are some things we can do.
Absolutely.
No, I agree with you.
Bringing awareness.
I didn't mean to make it.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to highlight that, you know.
Honestly,
that is what
dude.
you're doing, you know. Like that's why the arts matter in communities.
Right.
Is for that very reason.
Honestly,
right, exactly. Right, and that's the purpose behind it.
Exactly.
Yes. I've been praying about this, and I've literally been getting this message. There's a right way to do it. Right. There's a right way to do it. There's a right way to do it. Because like a lot of times I'll pray, and God will be like, "It's not worth it." Right. But this time it was like, "No, you're right. But there's a right way to do this." And that's why I keep getting. And I'm gonna follow that. And I don't want anybody to terrorize her. That's why I don't want it. I'm not gonna name her. I'm not gonna.
Gotcha.
I feel like saying her probably would. I didn't mean to do that, but I don't want people to attack her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I want the story of the victims, not victims, but I want the story of the people affected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm trying to do. Is because if we start attacking her,
you're giving them a
that's
voice.
creating a negative. You know what I mean? Especially like she's gonna look like she's being attacked. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like
exactly what they think that we're going to do shouldn't be what we're going to do.
Right.
Yeah. There's always going to be like another way to bring awareness and to stop all of that. You know what I mean?
Make no doubt. I promise you. I've talked to them. Those people in that neighborhood are pissed. They're pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, they watched that happen to their own. They couldn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Anyways.
It pisses me off that, you know, a family that, you know, was living there for 15 years got kicked out because of that. Like that triggered me.
But that's the thing is like when I tell these stories, and here's what I got from the Seminole Heights group, right? When I say what happens, they don't care about nothing except for, oh well, Grady violated this, and this law, and I'm like, bro, that's not. None of that mattered until somebody fucking came here. None of that mattered, and they don't get that part. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's right to fucking violate. You know what I'm saying? Anything. But again, if you can't see that like nobody gave a shit until somebody came and rose a ruckus because they were upset.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what we talk about, like privilege and systemic power, and like that's a perfect example of that.
Places like Seminole Heights, places like Ybor, places like St. Pete and stuff like that have all these weird areas are the reason why you have so much culture, have so much diversity, have so many reasons why you like hanging out and partying and chilling in these areas. But when they realize some of the people that have to are forced to live there, because you're acting like let's be real, like people can be happy living in those areas because of the community, because we have our feet on the ground here and no one's coming to fucking with us. This is all we want. We want to be left alone. We want to have our community, whatever the case may be. And maybe they're not fucking 4-bedroom, 2-story houses, the most beautiful things you've ever seen, whatever. Some of these houses aren't the greatest or whatever, but it's somewhere that these people live and they can somewhat afford and hold down their family and stuff of that nature. So that's what makes it really fucked up, is because people from the outside don't look at it that way. They just see these people struggling. They're not holding their own weight or whatever. They're not living the ideal American whatever type life that they think, and they think it's like a scar or a blemish on what the idea of Florida and Tampa and stuff like that's supposed to be like. So then they make it easy to think, oh, we just get rid of it and build some nicer stuff so the nicer people can come in and do their thing, and now they have a say for that streets and whatever the case may be.
I do have a segment that I wanted to continue here.
Wait for this, bro.
This is called Craig versus Austin. It's so basically what we're doing here.
We have 3 players today.
We do have 3 players today. We're doing. I went on Craigslist and I found the misconnection section, and I find the best ones to read, and then I make my own.
And then we have to.
And then you guys have to guess which one is me.
Okay.
It's so much crazier than you think.
Which one's real and then which one's their fake?
Yeah, right.
Which one's real? Which one's mine?
Gonna lie, but with misconnection.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, starting it off.
Get it.
Let's get right into it. First one is, the title is, "You said I reminded you of a rag doll you used to play with." Here we go.
That's how it's gonna start it. 100%.
What connection was this?
This is an intense connection.
Some weird stuff. That's what we found out.
First sentence.
You, the big biker dude looking like a TOP at the 7-Eleven. Last Tuesday, I was going to give you my cell number on the down low, but before I could get back to my ride outside, you had already taken off. I was a small dude, 40-ish, with long hair, smooth bod, and tight shorts. You smiled at me. Hope you see this and hit me up, ...
This is awesome, 1000%.
All right, second one. This one is called Red Fish, Blue Fish equals You Fish. We were in the public library.
What the fuck does that mean?
I know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the title to come through right
We were in the public library. I was in the kids aisle looking to get a Dr. Seuss book for my 4-year-old. I saw you put your glasses down and wince at me with your red hair and sparkling blue eyes. I was about to come over there and talk to you, but then my son cock blocks me and says he needs to go to the bathroom. I saw you laugh, but when we came back, ... you were gone.
Damn it.
Ellipsis.
How dramatic at the end there. Yeah.
So which one was me?
I think the first one was.
I think the
Wait,
first.
we just read 2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
one
go
or
in
two.
rounds. We go
One
in
or two.
rounds.
I think the first one was you. That second one is so specific.
You all were wrong.
Oh!
fuck?
Yo, you're a good writer.
See?
You're a good
That's
writer,
exactly
bro.
what we did the last one. We were like, what?
That was, you put a lot of shit together in there.
This is why, honestly, this is why I showed up a little later. It took me 2.5
Made
hours
up
to
the
make
library story?
Like seriously.
What in the
God.
fuck?
It's like makes sense in a little bit now,
Red
but
fish
not really.
Can we just go back to that part where Austin
Red
was
hair,
like,
blue eyes.
I don't feel like I bring anything to the table.
Yeah. He does this all.
Well done.
That was fucking fun.
Yeah.
Fuck. Straight zeros for all of us.
Just
But
fucking goose eggs.
that's where the title came from. Red fish, blue fish equals you fish. I was in the Dr. Seuss aisle. She had red hair and blue eyes.
He really like went into depth on that, man.
Holy fuck.
Hey, the details matter.
This is why
That was
this is
the
why he
details,
wins.
bro.
This is why the house wins every time.
All right, number 2. To Rebecca at Disney World. It's me, Steven. We made out in the It's a Small World line. You gave me your number, but I lost my phone on Splash Mountain later that day. Hence, why I'm on here, because I don't know your social medias. Hit me up if you see this. Next one.
I mean, that sounds like some real shit, though.
Like all this stuff, like oh.
Real shit.
Next one is...
I bet you he spent the rest of the time just walking around the park.
Yeah.
Trying to find her, like, hey, where's the girl? I gotta.
Poor Steven, man. Wait, first off, can we just... Who the fuck makes out in a small... It's a small world line.
Hold on.
It's a small world after all.
Line, not even like on the thing. It would have made more sense on the line.
You know there were some kids watching.
in the line in broad daylight while you're waiting to get on the dark ass ride. Like, come on.
Like, we already did each other.
All right. Next one is... Title is, Has it been a year since meeting at the beach bar? So, we met at the St. Pete Beach Bar. You told me your husband was in Texas. We took a walk and fooled around in the cabana lounge. We ended up at my place. You were Hispanic, long brown hair, short and chesty. Sound like you, question mark?
Chesty?
Let's see, ...
Chesty is not an acceptable word. Chesty is not acceptable.
I think I have a taste for you right now. I think you got the first one.
I'm going second one.
I know that you wrote the second one because
Oh, damn.
you dogged the first one.
He knows.
What do you mean I dogged the first one?
You joined in on our banter on the first one.
I wrote
You
the
gave
second
up
one.
your hand.
I wrote the first one.
What?
To Rebecca at Disney World.
Hey!
It's not one for
All
the
right, that was right. All right. I studied your style in the first one.
Dude, you're fucking up.
Yo,
He's getting better.
he just put that shit right in my face. Damn. Fuck.
I can prove it to you guys because
I believe.
with the Craig, I take the
trust you.
screenshot.
In the small world.
Chesty is a bad word.
Chesty
I'm
is a really,
happy
really crazy
that you
word
did
to
not
use.
do that. We got some comments over here.
Oh man, Man in the Box 911 said, "Yo, when K-Dot dropping?" I'm asking the same fucking question.
We're all sitting
It's
here
been
waiting.
5 years almost.
We're all waiting.
I'm
We are
waiting for
all
it.
waiting.
And then he said, "Dope shirts, boys." Well,
Thanks.
thank you.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Probably his more
You
than
can
mine.
probably, but you can buy his.
These are all dope. I like all of them.
All right. So, you're up 1-0-0.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right.
I'm glad that our guest is winning though. I mean,
The next one is
Ideal world.
yeah.
The next one is condoms and bread.
Like cartoons and cereal.
Hi! You left your 36 value pack of condoms and your organic multigrain whole wheat bread at my farmer's market table this past Saturday. You included the receipt for the condoms, which both shocked and delighted me. I really had no idea condoms were this expensive. Shocked because although these look like really good ones, they set you back almost $40. Delighted because if no one claims them, I'm exchanging them for 4 tubes of Maybelline Great Lash Mascara, a true classic, and some sunscreen. I didn't see you, nor did any of my employees, but I imagine you to be a male, born in the 90s or 2000s. Optimistic yet cautious, health conscious yet carb loving. Maybe a long distance runner? Question mark? Would make sense in the stamina department as well, or maybe you are in a band. I asked around, but no one was admitting anything to me. I learned that people don't appreciate being asked if they misplaced their condoms, and really, I was just trying to help and bust your balls, but only a tiny bit. Ooh. I just feel like if I ever spent $40 on condoms and $6 on a loaf of bread while buying a $7 juice, I'd be so mad. So let me know if these are yours. I'll bring them this weekend to the market.
That was a
fucking
essay.
She knew what she was doing now.
All right, this one is called To the Girl at the CVS in DeLand, Florida.
Oh, I've been there.
You helped me get the right tampons for my girl at the time, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Asshole.
You were a huge help. You were asking me what type of flow she has, and I responded with, "What? She don't rap." And you bursted out laughing, and then helped me find the right ones for her. Well, needless to say, we broke up. Do you still work at that CVS?
Oh my
God. If that one's you have a future in this.
I'm going to say the second one because you can just go to the CVS and check.
I'm going with the first one because it's super fucking long, and I just have this feeling that everyone's gonna go against the first one, and that's exactly how we're gonna lose. And then he spent his fucking time writing that first one.
I'm gonna go with we're guessing which one is
that he wrote.
He wrote. I think you wrote the second one.
Okay, so you're
second. I say two.
Second.
I'm first.
Second. I wrote the second one.
Oh my god, man! Yeah, the one, see, just when I go against my gut, I knew it. The whole thing was so long.
That's the condom and bread one. She even took a picture.
It was so detailed.
Yo,
it was so detailed.
But wait a second. Hold on.
Organic, multi-grain wheat bread. The whole thing.
Like, that's why I knew I should have went with the other one, man. I just like.
Can we talk about Austin's use of flow?
That's my favorite
that
one.
That was very
That's
funny.
My favorite one I wrote.
She doesn't rap.
You want me to read it again?
Oh my
yes,
god.
read it again. Encore. Encore.
To the girl at the CVS in DeLand, Florida. You helped me get the right tampons for my girl at the time, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. You were a huge help. You were asking me what type of flow she has, and I responded with, "What? She don't rap." And you bursted out laughing, and then helped me find the right ones for her. Well, needless to say, we broke up. You still work at that CVS?
Bro.
That is fucking crazy.
Also, what a fucking angle to take, right? Like, what an angle to take.
The dude is literally living vicariously through fake people.
Right.
Like, he literally just like out of body experience is just literally living somebody else's life that he's making up.
Sausage party, fucking Fox said.
Fucking Fox said sausage party.
Whatever.
Wait, the movie? Have y'all seen the movie?
I have, yeah. The movie's insane. The orgy at the end.
By the time you get to the end, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Dude, I watched that with my dad.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I made that mistake. It came out.
Sausage party watching a sausage party.
A lot of people didn't see that movie, and I was like, at the end, I was like, oh.
I saw that with my dad and my cousin, and when the orgy started happening, we were like,
alright.
Alright. Next. To the officer that saw me smoking weed on my drive home. You scared the fuck out of me when you pulled up on the side of me. But when you rolled the window down and smiled, I knew you were a gangsta. You a real one, Chief.
I'm stunned.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, I destroyed everything, but I can't even believe this is real life.
Fuck. I mean, half this stuff is your stuff.
Alright, next. I gave you an accidental back scratch. We were strangers in the 27th row on a flight. We didn't even exchange hellos. You seemed queasy and kept putting your head on the seat in front of you. I was high on cold medication and decided you needed a back scratch. We both realized what was happening, but it was too late. I scratched your back in an affectionate manner for at least 5 seconds, and no more than 10. I patted your back awkwardly at the conclusion of my back scratch, and then pretended to be asleep. If you're reading this, I'm sorry.
I have no
This one's
clue.
tough.
I don't have a fucking idea at
I
all.
know it's gonna be wrong.
I want to say A. You wrote A. I want to say you wrote A. But then again, I don't know.
What is the
That's
score right now? What is the score?
What do you have? You have
crazy. I
2?
say A. Oh, I got 2.
You have 2, 1, 1?
I haven't won at all.
Oh, 1. So 2, 0, 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Dude,
I'm
this one
gonna
is
go-
a toss-up, bro. What the fuck?
I'm gonna go with you wrote. This is.
Do you want me to read it again?
Nah, I know him. I just know that I'm going against what my gut.
Man in the Box 911 said number 2, so I'm
Number
going to
2?
take your answer. I'm going to go with number 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with
In the
number
box.
2 as well.
And then you said what?
I say A1.
He said the
You
first
were
one.
right.
God damn, I knew it!
Damn,
I
he
was
is
gonna say
shredding
one
us
thing-
right now.
Oh my god.
Hey, this is the teaching practice. You learn writing styles and stuff like that.
Oh, he's analyzing your fucking linguistics.
This is
Yeah,
why,
I
dude,
keep going
dude,
against
this
my
is
first
exactly why I wanted to do this segment with him.
Oh,
Because I'm kind of a poet myself when it comes to
You
that.
are good. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna lie.
He's
You are a
killing
good writer. sir.
Killing it,
You
bro.
got- you got a
It
little
took me
bit-
3 hours.
Yo, last time we did this took him 20 minutes.
He literally
Yeah.
sat on this couch, was all puppy dog eye, like, getting all
Sorry,
upset
boys,
'cause
my
he-
bad. Yo, your guess was just as good
Hey,
as mine.
bro.
That was crazy.
You see how hard this is? This
Alright.
is ridiculous.
Next. Sorry for running naked through the neighborhood. To whom it may concern.
Sorry.
I apologize for running naked through the neighborhood at around 8 p.m. this evening. I was deathly afraid that I would lose something that is extremely important to the effect of me being a man.
8 p.m.'s way
As
too
you
early
see,
for that.
I was partaking in the activity with my girlfriend when she became enraged at the fact that I knew about her affairs with another man. She informed me that she was going to get something that would make things a little more interesting. When she returned, she had one of our kitchen knives in her hand. At that point, I was not about to take my chances and immediately took the initiative to seek safety in a friend's house down the block. I was lacking common sense and did not spare a moment to become dressed. Thus the reason that I was not wearing any clothes. At this point, all is well, and I do not want any ill will with any of my trusting neighbors. The situation has been rectified, and order has been returned to my household with the absence of my now ex-girlfriend. Thank you for your understanding, The Naked Runner. Location, Palmetto, Florida.
Jeez.
Oh, that.
You don't know?
Man in the Box said this is all a ploy to get us to listen to your poems.
He's a real poet!
Austin's moonlighting.
Hey, I support you, Austin.
Austin is
I appreciate you.
Austin is secretly writing all of these and misconnections already, so then he brings them and we're acting like it's somebody else versus
actually a real
Austin, but it's
story.
really just Austin versus Austin the whole time.
He's gonna do it to us in like 3 streams. He's like, they were all mine.
Yeah, all of them. I wrote all those motherfuckers.
Alright, next one. And the finale. So, this one's called Penis Caught in My Zipper in Bathroom. I had just gone in for a normal pee, but the way you pounded and pounded and pounded on the door screaming, "Out! I have diarrhea! Out! For the love of God, come out! It's coming out of my butt, please! Please!" Got me so turned on that I got an erection. Then, because your kicking started splintering the door, I quickly yanked up my zipper and caught my penis up in the process. I'm sorry again for the screaming as you pushed me down and sat down with the door hanging off its hinges. But the look of sheer horror and embarrassment we shared has captured my heart. Please describe what I was wearing so I know it's you.
Holy fuck, that was a lot.
Yo.
Well, I definitely already super lost, and there's no way that I'm gonna even putting any points on the board is gonna do anything for my mental. So I really do think I'm gonna go with my gut. I think you wrote the first. No, yes. I think you wrote the first one.
Okay.
Yes, I think you wrote the first one because it wasn't even. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were both long.
Yeah, I can't. I feel like I want to say second one. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. You
want-
won already, so it's fine.
I'm gonna pick second one because he's picking them all.
I'm going for yeah.
It was the second one.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Nice.
Wait, you wrote?
I'm going to take a little bit of a thing that Austin has done that we for sure need to bring back.
Yeah.
I think you know what you're talking about.
We all
We're going
know.
to end this stream out. Open your third eye, y'all, because I'm going to ask you to name off your top 5 life advices to anyone listening or that you would tell.
5?
Yes, top 5 life advice that you would tell any of your young ones, anybody listening, anybody out there at all.
Even if you don't make it, it always leads into good conversations. So just, what would you tell someone coming up in one of these meat sacks?
Well, I got like 2 or 3 that I do tell everybody. Wait, I missed it.
He basically called people meat sacks, and
I said, what would you tell someone coming
Growing
up,
up in meat sacks.
existing in one of these meat sacks?
Oh, yeah. Yo, it's funny you said that. I was in the shower the other day. Literally, I was looking at myself. I'm like, yo, this is literally just a bag filled with organs. That's what this is, right? My stomach is a bag of organs. Like, anyway,
in no specific order, you can just or name as many as you want. But 5 is the max requirement.
The first thing I would say, if I'm being honest, and maybe this doesn't apply to everybody, but pray. You know what I mean?
No, that applies to everyone. It
When
doesn't
it
matter
comes-
what you believe in.
Yeah.
Pray / meditation, I would say. It's pray / meditation.
Meditate.
Just tap
Well,
in.
I mean, for me specifically, I would say if you're looking for answers of a godly nature, go to the source. That's the best way I can say it. If you're
I'm playing.
looking-
I'm playing.
For real, like, you know what I mean? I think we have too many people who have intercessors between them and God, and it fucks up their natural growth, right? And that doesn't mean that you can't go to a church or a mosque or anywhere and gain actual connection. Because, like, if it wasn't for some of the structures of Christianity, I wouldn't have put in the work and effort to grow my spirituality in that way. So, but it, you know what I mean? If you become conflicted, if there's things in your heart that you feel are not right, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're just beginning your journey and you don't trust the churches and stuff like that, that would be the first advice is to pray. Go directly to the source, man. Go directly to the source.
It's as simple as that.
Next advice. Man, I'm trying to think of the mistakes I made in my life, man.
That's where the lessons come.
Yeah,
Stand on your values, bro. Do not compromise your values to get people to like you, because it always hurts in the end. It always hurts, man. The relationship, you shouldn't have relationships with people who make you compromise your values consistently.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a relationship. There's a lie somewhere that's not being exposed, and that's
that is like such a good point, man. I've definitely done that in my life for
100%.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
So I would say that's huge. Number 3, advice, man. This is tough, man. Just because
I'm glad you guys like this.
There's a lot I want to say.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Not specifically. Make sure that you're following your fucking heart. You know what I'm saying? Because although that's kind of nuanced too, because some people are too much heart. You know what I'm saying? And they that hurts themselves too. But I say that when I say follow your heart, like, you know, you kind of already know what you're supposed to be doing in a lot of ways. And we constantly allow the world to tell us different. You know what I'm saying? And so be brave enough to fucking do what you know you're good at, regardless of what the world is saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, be brave enough to pursue, you know, something you're authentically about, something that you care about, something that you're passionate about.
Yes!
There we go. Passion is the breadcrumbs to purpose.
Woo! There we go.
So the thing,
Beautiful.
if you're figuring out what to do in your life, follow your passions. And if people say that this is a terrible passion to have, like if you're passionate about like cocaine, maybe not follow that passion. You know what I'm saying? But like, but the passions that feel, you know what I mean? Again, a little nuance. Like, follow the things in your life that make you feel edified, and you know what I mean? Like, there's things you care about. Like, you know what I mean? There's somebody working in corporate America right now, right? And they work in some office, but their favorite thing in the world is to come home and build Legos. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you fucking like Legos, build Legos. Go to Legoland, make a YouTube page.
Dude.
There's so much ability out there to be famous for anything, or not famous, but to make a career out of literally anything.
There's a 9-year-old kid making $12 million a year just doing fucking toy reviews, unboxing toys.
You could sew button eyes on the bears. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do anything, bro. And there's whatever your skill is. If you
Untapped market.
You can
sell eye-buttons.
You can make stupid Craigslist misconnection.
I don't know. I might make some people mad, don't have no kids
Oh.
until you want kids.
All right, hey.
Beautiful.
Like, don't have no damn kids. No. Most miserable people I've seen are people that you can tell do not want their kids. And they have to have it. And they're not bad people. That's life advice. I think I got this one. But it's about love. One thing I have been successful in is love. I've been very blessed to have an amazing wife now, and so and what I will say to that, bro, is
I gotta learn.
Not settle.
Yeah, dude.
Don't settle, bro. I don't care how long it's been, whatever your situation or circumstances is.
That's not even just love. That's with anything.
Do not settle, man.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're, you know what I mean? And that don't mean be an asshole. Like, be real about yourself.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
not settle has the caveat that
Right.
you're honest with yourself.
Right.
That's the first thing. Because some people are like way up here and they're not settling, but they're not offering what they want, what they're demanding of others, right? But, you know what I mean? Do not settle, man. If you know what I mean? If you know something ain't right, you gotta honor that, bro. And those conversations may be hard and scary and tough, and you don't want to hurt feelings, but bro, like if you want a real honest love, you gotta find somebody who fucking is communicative, direct communication, who is supportive, who isn't gonna take your shit, who's gonna push you. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that make a relationship work. You know what I'm saying? It's not just sex and it's not just fucking attraction or money. Like and that's why everybody holds these pedestals on, but literally it's everything else under that. You know what I'm saying?
I actually have something to add to that as well. This has to do with relationships too, because I recently just broke up with my ex-girlfriend at the time. Oh no, we're good. Like great. We're great. Like we're doing really well.
Really
We
great.
had makeup sex. It's great.
All right, that's cool.
Everything's going great.
Anyways, I say this because I do love her. She loves me. I'm just not settled with where I'm at in life right now. So I need to focus a lot of my time on things that are going to put me in a position where I'm going to start loving my life more, and then I'll bring someone in. That's kind of where I'm at.
That's responsible.
Because, you know, a relationship, when you're trying to build something, is kind of distracting.
As my friend AJ always says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love anybody else?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
He's a poet as well. I need to link you up with him.
AJ's dope.
AJ,
He's in Santeria right
he
now.
was one of our.
Yeah.
He was one of our very first guests, and he's an amazing
He was our
poet.
first guest.
Amazing. He was our very first guest.
First guest, yeah.
But now he's in Santeria, so he can't come. He's doing a ceremony for Santeria where he can't be on video for a year. So we can't see him.
Photos, like
Yeah.
Oh,
He's in a
He had to shave his hair.
That's a religion?
Santeria, yeah.
Santeria. It's a.
I think it's like Spanish or something.
It's a Spanish religion that is based on Catholicism, but also.
Paganism? No, not paganism.
Please don't talk.
We'll have,
about
there's a whole.
Please stop talking.
The's a whole episode.
Trying
about
to
it.
do this.
I think I heard.
There's a whole episode about it. We can go back and watch
pagan.
that shit.
You're right. We're not offending nobody. We are ignorant to what it is. We're
Allegedly.
gonna admit that.
AJ, I love you. I'm not disrespecting you. I
Do
just,
not follow us for what sense it is.
I don't. Just
We're not
watch
religious
Watch the
advisors.
episode and
watch
listen
the
to
episode.
AJ explain it.
Watch the episode and have him explain it on Royal Venture ENT.
Please check out www.dennisamadeus.com.
If you're on the
Also,
planet
can I
Earth.
plug something?
Yeah,
plug it all
If you
way.
are in the Tampa area and you're a fan of poetry and you're a fan of community and writing and building, follow Grow House Tampa. We have an event coming July 10th at downtown Tampa in a spot called Haiku. We're going to be doing haikus, but we got more coming.
I love
so if
haikus.
you're,
I
if
love
you're into
haikus,
poetry, Poetry Slam fan, if you are a poet, looking for something to write, follow Grow House Tampa on Instagram.
I think what we'll do right now is we're gonna go out with a song. There's a music video on YouTube if you want to check it out.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Hold on, let me put it up.
Sitting at my desk and I'm fucking in these hours. Fucking with the best, so we never ever sour. Okay, that's a lie, I've been taking hot showers. A chance to ease my mind, cause I'm always in the bind. Yeah. And these politicians really be bandits. Taking all my cash, walk the line, here's a sandwich. You stand slapping when I'm trapping independent. The girls all clapping and they fighting for attention. Put your middle fingers up if you're tired of the way that they're running us. Tired every day trying to make the cut. Blood money, drug money, yes, got it stuck. Yes, got it stuck. Yeah, they got me stuck. Yeah, they got me stuck.